Britt here. What is self-sabotage costing you? Let's get right to it. I know we've explored this in other videos, and today we're just going to explore a little deeper about the emotional cost, the real hidden toll it takes on you when you block the very healing that your heart is crying out for. Because when you see what it's costing you, you'll understand why it's time to come home to yourself. You know, self-sabotage doesn't always look dramatic. It's not always quitting your job in a storm of emotion or ghosting everyone in your life overnight. Sometimes it's subtle, quiet, like forgetting to schedule time with your mentor or therapist, like getting halfway through a journal entry, slamming the notebook shut, or numbing out on that 50th episode of your favorite sitcom. And on the surface, it might even look like self-care. But underneath, self-sabotage is a slow leak of the life that you're meant to live. Because the emotional cost isn't always immediate. It's cumulative. And by the time you notice, it's already pretty heavy. So let's name what self-sabotage actually steals from you. Number one, your clarity. When you live in self-sabotage cycles, it becomes almost impossible to trust yourself. I know that happened for me. Started doubting my decisions. You start second-guessing every single move. Was that the right move? Was that the right call? Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? And you spiral in these circles of overthinking, overanalyzing, over-explaining, because deep down, you've learned to expect disappointment from yourself. I used to tell myself, I'm just indecisive today. But what's really happening is this. I was being burned by my own avoidance. So many times, I didn't believe I would follow through. I started just telling myself, well, I'm a great starter, and I am. And I've had to consciously learn now how to be a great finisher. But it wasn't always that way. One of my clients said she always felt strong at start. She'd make the vision board, write the goals, get the planner, but something always breaks down. And she thought it was a discipline issue, but it wasn't. Turns out that it was grief over an abortion 20 years earlier. She'd tried so many different healing modalities, and she was always met with rejection. And she figured, I'm not going to try anymore because I always fail. Forget it. That's even more painful than not trying. I've been there. You know, it was like the kid that won all the sports when I was younger, and even could outrun the boys in grade school, and just was so proud of doing well in sports and gymnastics and doing the splits and all this great stuff. And when I started competing, I think they call it that kid just takes his toys and goes home, right? That kid just takes, you know, and it's the quitter. It's the, if I can't be number one, if I can't win, I'm not going to play. And I did that in a big way in my life and watched year after year after year slide by. And I'll tell you something that someone told me this year that was a wake-up call for me, and that's another reason I'm talking to you today and not planning and journaling and writing out my program. I launched the program, and I've graduated 2 classes of amazing, beautiful women. And I believe that women who have gone through abortion are actually extra special because the devil doesn't target people that he already has. He targets people with incredible, miraculous dreams inside of them with the capacity to have them come true. And I believe that's you. So back to why I'm sitting here talking with you today and what someone said to me that inspired this. A friend of mine said, think of your life this way. People think 365 days a year, right? And there's so much time. And I know in my 20s, I acted like I was going to live forever, right? And all of a sudden, then I'm 30. Then all of a sudden, I'm 39. And I have a heart attack because all of my behavior brought about those consequences. Well, what someone said to me recently was, think of it this way. How many summers do you have left in your life? What if you have 10 summers left? What if you have 5? What if you have 15? Think of it that way. Because time's moving on, whether you're moving with it. So I'm here because I don't want you to go through what I've gone through. And I don't want you to have to spend so much time living a half-authentic life because you're afraid to feel. And because self-sabotage keeps shooting you in the heel or in the foot, in the stomach, or wherever it goes, or wherever the gun goes off, right? So that's my mission, is to help as many women as I can. So let my long road to healing become your shortcut. You deserve it, and I believe that's what God wants for you. How amazing will it be when you are equipped to be an extra great spouse. You have a 10 out of 10 marriage, that you know you're raising the next generation of children or grandchildren, or even just people in your circle, friends. How wonderful will it be when you can rest assured that because you took the steps to heal yourself, that instigated healing in those around you. You know, such a small percentage of human communication is words. I mean, all this verbal, we're doing this, but most of you is picking up on my body language. Am I sincere? Am I full of it? Am I selling you something? Am I real? Have I lived this? You know, you're picking up on that regardless of what I'm saying. So I hope that something in your gut, if you've had an abortion, or you've had a sister, or cousin, mom, grandma, whoever in your life, because 1/3 of any audience anywhere has been touched by abortion, that you will share this. This is life-saving information. I don't want you to live half full. I want you to experience all that God has for you. So number 2, peace. Self-sabotage steals your peace. And this one's a bit tricky because we often confuse avoidance with peace. You know, one of my mentors says, peace is not the absence of discomfort. It's the presence of alignment. And I'm sure you've all been in the presence of somebody who is congruent. They're aligned. What they're saying matches their body language. And you can tell internally, they're not looking for validation from you or anybody else. They're not looking for validation in their performance in life. They show up to a video like this, when you've been in a Texas rainstorm and your hair's not the way it was supposed to be, and that you're in 3-day-old sweatpants, and you just show up. And I hope you'll allow yourself that kind of peace, because self-sabotage keeps you perpetually out of alignment with your own values, your desires, your own truth. So pretend you want intimacy, but you keep retreating when someone gets too close. Or you think you want healing, but you delay starting the process, waiting for the right time, and you really want some rest, but you schedule yourself 24/7. You tell yourself, you're just busy, I'm just being productive. But beneath all that, perhaps there's unrest. Perhaps there's a constant hum of unease, even if you can't name it. It's kind of like living in perpetual FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. But you don't know exactly what you're missing. Well, I believe you're missing yourself. Dr. Nicole LePera writes in How to Do the Work that when we habitually self-sabotage, we're not lazy, we're actually dysregulated. Our nervous system's stuck in flight or fight or freeze. And that chronic dysregulation robs you of peace from the inside out. 3, connection. When you block your own healing, you also block intimacy. Because self-sabotage often tells you, if I let someone see the real me, my mess, my fears, my repeated failures, my bad hair, they'll leave. So you hide. I know I did. You put on the competent face, the spiritual face, the I've got this all under control face, but inside, you might actually feel miles from the people closest to you. You start turning down invitations. I know I was a big-time isolator. I had one friend actually name me not because you don't want to be seen necessarily, but because the idea of being fully seen and dealing with other people just can seem overwhelming. And I know I wanted connection, but my coping strategies were abysmal. They basically taught me, take something, drink something, eat something, run somewhere. That's your coping strategy. That was my whole toolbox at one point. So I did want connection, but again, my strategies taught me that vulnerability equals not only risk, but probably rejection. You know, one of my clients put it to me this way. She said, I don't let people love me. I just let them admire me. That line stopped me cold because admiration can feel safe, but love requires exposure. So self-sabotage doesn't just block your healing. It actually blocks love. And in the long run, that's a cost your heart can't afford. Number 4, confidence. Every time you say you'll do something for your healing or whatever it is and you don't do it, your subconscious thinks, she doesn't keep her word. Your trust in yourself erodes. And it's not conscious. You don't sit down and decide, I'm not trustworthy. But your brain starts to believe, maybe I'm not reliable. I can't follow through. Maybe I can't change. Well, these kind of thoughts create what psychologists call a self-confirming loop. You believe you'll fail, so you unconsciously act in ways that create failure, which then reinforces the belief that you're a failure. It's a cycle, and it's brutal. So here's the thing. The solution isn't trying harder. It's understanding why you keep blocking the very thing that you say you want. Because once you see the pattern and not just judge it, beat yourself up with it, but are compassionate with it and yourself, then you get to begin to change it. Awareness is a superpower. Number 5, intimacy with God. This one might be the hardest to talk about, but it's real. Because self-sabotage, especially when it's rooted in shame, often makes us feel distant from God. And not because He's distant, but because when you're in sabotage mode, you stop showing up in truth. You may start hiding behind performance. You may start thinking, once I get myself together, then I'll be ready to pray. Then I'll journal. Then I'll go deeper. Then I'll be real. Then I'll share about my abortion. Once I'm strong, well, let me share with you, getting rid of your secrets makes you strong. Stop caring about what others think about you. That's freedom. So healing never starts from having it all together. I can tell you for sure. It starts with something like, God, I'm here. I'm a mess and I'm afraid. But I want to stop running, and I want you to take over my life. So lead me where you would have me go. And I promise you, He will answer that prayer. Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Not the perfect, but the brokenhearted. So if self-sabotage has created a wedge between you and God, it's not too late, I promise. That wedge isn't real, it's fear. And fear doesn't get to have the final word. So ask yourself, what is self-sabotage stealing from you? I pray this video has revealed something to you that moves you forward. I'd be honored if you shared your heart in the comments, and I do my best to answer everyone. If no one told you today, just remember, you're worth a great life, and you are beloved.